The idea of overpopulation is not accurate because really the entire population of the world, if they were stood shoulder to shoulder, could fit in the city limits of Jacksonville. The motto is we buy used and we save the different. We're being very resourceful for the things that most people would discard. Go to the thrift stores and we reuse them. Boy, we get lots of use out of them. And we always buy used cars, so we're not be using. And so we try to be resourceful.
Hi friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Wednesday, September 11th, 2024. We celebrated Jana Duggar's wedding a couple weeks ago. That was followed up by news that Jason Duggar was engaged to a woman named Maddie Grace. And a lot of people in Duggarland were saying, when's the next shoe that's going to drop? Why so much positive Duggar news? What are they trying to get ahead? Immediately, people started believing that James Duggar, Jim Bob, was doing this in an effort to get ahead of something that was going to be coming out, to which I don't know if this is one of those things that was coming out, but I can confirm to you today that Jason Duggar and one of Jim Bob's uh, building contacts or investors, Ross Little, through his company Madison Holdings, are being sued for fraud, breach of contract, and negligence. It's a mess. Jason Duggar, who had been working as a licensed contractor for several years under the building company Buildmaster Construction, Jason frequently partnered with business partners of Jim Bob Duggar and his friend Bob Ballinger, and contacts like Ross Little, who was a wealthy guy from Alabama that happened to invest in all of these properties in Arkansas. So Jason held a limited contracting license. He wasn't allowed to build certain things above a certain price, and he was never a residential contractor. He had a commercial contracting license with limited opportunities to build residential homes. In March of 2023, Jason never renewed his building contractor's license. Despite that, he still built homes without a license. One of the biggest stumbles in his career came in May of 2023, when Jason was slapped with a mechanical lien for non-payment to a subcontractor. That was quickly paid off by July after our reporting on it, but Jason still did not renew his contractor's license. So he continued to build homes without a license. And now a homeowner that purchased a home from Jason in August of 2023 is suing Jason for fraud. So this case was filed in Benton County, Arkansas. And according to the complaint, a plaintiff named Mark Thompson is suing Jason and Madison Holding LLC. And they state that they purchased a home in Bella Vista and that Madison Holding was the seller and Jason Duggar was listed as the contractor. Duggar's contractor license, which he noted on the contracts for sale, cannot be found in the Arkansas Contractors Licensing Board, and he does not appear to operate under a valid contractor's license. He gave a phony number that is in no way connected to him, and he put that down on the document. So this was never his license number. I don't even know where he came up with this number. So they said that before they bought the house, they did a inspection and they did an inspection, repair, and survey addendum, and that they agreed that they would fix some issues in the home. So apparently when they purchased this house, there was a bunch of things that hadn't been finished yet. For instance, they needed the master bathrooms or the master bath grout repaired. They needed a second bedroom closet. The support was improperly installed. The sod installation was not fully installed. The master bedroom closet was, while this was attempted to be repaired in the spring of 2024, the rod collapsed. There was also issues which were indicated that were the ground near the back right corner of the home has a depression. that Madison Holding and Contractor represented would be filled and leveled. This has not been completed. The powder room and office have cracked drywall that has not been properly repaired. The pantry door was supposed to be reinstalled so that it would remain closed, but this has not been done. The stair stringer ties are not the correct size, and roofing issues. While the addendum originally addresses flashing, this has not fully addressed the roof issues. For example, issues remain with the flashing. There are damaged shingles on a portion of the roof. The roofing felt underlayment does not extend over the drip edge flashing. The roof to wall intersection kick out flashing is missing from the front of the home, and the clearance between the cement fiber cladding and roof is missing or inadequate at the front of the home, and the clearance between the bottom and the of the wall siding material and the top of the roof covering are material improperly varies, and the deck ledger should have both visible flashing under the top side siding, which has not occurred. So they had addressed all of these warranty items and had presented them to the builder. So if you generally buy a new home, you have warranties and you have issues that they can fix. And it sounds like he had a list of issues that needed to be fixed. And he says that between April and May of 2024, Jason acknowledged the contracting issues acknowledged the roofing issues, and he also uh, acknowledged other issues. And then, rather than continuing with needed repairs, suggested he simply pay for them to be done by someone else. And now that he's still trying to get his roof repaired, which, by the way, if your roof isn't fixed, it can cause damage throughout the whole house. And minor roofing issues are not uncommon when you build a home, but it sounds like this roof was not put on correctly at all. It sounds like he didn't install closets correctly. He didn't put doors on correctly. The drywall cracking isn't uncommon as well because that happens when you buy a house and it shifts, but most builders will come back and fix things within a year. And he's saying that never happened. So he's having all of these damages and he's saying he's trying to contact Jason about it and he's gone completely silent. So he says that this does not constitute the exhaustive list and shows the defectiveness of the construction and the failure of the seller and contractor to comply with the terms of the addendum. So, what is he suing for? Breach of contract. Pursuant to the contract, they are required to fix and complete various issues. The plaintiff did what the contract required of him, including closing on and paying for the home. The defendants, have not done what the contract required of them, which was including but not limited to repairs needed to be set forth here. So they did an inspection of the home at the time of closing, and there was a bunch of defects in the house that needed to be fixed. And as a part of it, they agreed and signed a contract that they would fix it, and they haven't fixed it. And it's more than a year later. So it says breach of warranties. They said that the contractor purported to be a licensed contractor with Arkansas holding a license number, and it gives the number, which apparently is not true. The contractor should nonetheless be held to the same standard of a contractor in the industry. The contractor's contract and agreement to warrant his work and complete the various issues identified herein carried with it the implied warranty of workmanships and work-like quality. So Jason had been a licensed contractor but never renewed his license, and then posed as a licensed contractor, lied on the contract and gave a phony license number. And he's arguing and asking the court to say, even though he's not licensed, he needs to be held liable as a contractor. And he said that he breached these implied warranties by failing to properly complete the repairs in compliance with the industry standard. In the several items, including those set forth herein, are not completed, and others have arisen to the course of the contractors purporting to attempt to make the repairs. So he's asking for damages in the amount established at trial. In the time since this has all happened, Jason hasn't sold a house since November of 2023. While all of this was going on and he was contacting Jason, Jason still isn't licensed as a contractor and was literally posing as a builder to this man, even though he's not working as a builder, and told this guy in text messages that he would send subcontractors out to his house, and they didn't come. So it says they also are suing for negligence, which is they breached their duty by failing to make the repairs, including per the addendum and as warranted, and by failing to cure the defects when given an opportunity to do so. And they are again was asking for damages which will be determined at trial. And then the final one is fraud and construction fraud. It's always weird when the Duggars are liars, right? Because I thought they were good Christians, but what do I know? It says that the contractor made false representations of material fact to plaintiff by representing he was a licensed contractor and by representing he was making several of the repairs to the roof or had made repairs to the home in compliance with the addendum and the warranty. Additionally, or alternatively, the contractor breached a legal or equitable duty owed to the plaintiff, which, irrespective of moral guilt, tended to deceive the plaintiff, but not disclosing he was not licensed and by not completing the repairs identified herein, although it was represented that these had been made or would be made. So he again lies to this guy and says he's a licensed contractor. He says that these repairs are going to either be done, they have been done, or he's going to do them and he never did them. The contractor knew that these representations were false or believed them to be at the time said representations were made. The contractors made representations that were false, his or her knowledge of the same. Said representations were made with the intent to induce plaintiff to purchase the home, believing it was constructed by a licensed contractor that would make the repairs and warrant the work identified herein in reliance on the representation that said bills reflected the actual time worked on her properties. They justifiably relied on the representation as he had no reason to believe the contractor was operating without a license in violation of Arkansas law and was misrepresenting that he was not making the repairs in accordance with the contract and warranty. As a result of these misrepresentations, the plaintiff has sustained damages, an amount determined at trial, and they said that these representations were made with malice or such reckless disregard that malice may be inferred so as to warrant punitive damages. So, getting sued for contracting fraud is a pretty big deal. And I mean, honestly, if this guy wanted to, he could file a complaint. I mean, obviously, he's suing for damages right now. That's like step number one. He can also file a complaint with the department, the Arkansas Department of Labor and Licensing, and about Buildmaster Construction. And then Jason can get fined by the state for this. If he wanted to, he could also file a police report for fraud because Jason represented that he was a licensed contractor when he wasn't. And I don't understand why Jason just didn't renew his license or if he was having issues with the homes that he was building and he just wanted to get out of the industry. And if that's the case, why then would you continue to build knowing that you don't have a license? And then why then would you represent to the person that you sold the house to that you had a license still? He was posing as a contractor to this man this year and he didn't have a license and he doesn't have a license still. So the home was purchased for $350,000. And as a part of the contract, they did an inspection, repair, and survey addendum when they closed on the house and they did a inspection. And it says all items to be repaired, replaced, included in inspection report summary attached are all items on pre-inspection list repaired, list attached. Following items must be repaired prior to closing. All open electrical items on the inspection summary, septic permit, low profile, light installed above kitchen island. And then they also had a list of, they signed a repair list of things that they repaired. And then they refuted some of the requests for repair about like the color and the pre-inspection. And they said the builder will not change the washroom vanity, builder will use reasonable efforts to review and address any other concrete listed in the pre-inspection. So then there was a final inspection, which was done. And he's basically stating like there was all these things on this final inspection that needed to get fixed. All of these. There was like 20 some items on here that needed to be fixed. Missing siding around the header of the deck. I mean, the kitchen countertops, there was issues with bath shower, the second bedroom, the fireplace. There was a bunch of things that he needed to finish. And this was all from August of 2025 of 23. And he agreed that he would fix all of these things and they closed on the home. So he also provided a text message from Jason, and I'll just read some of these, what the texts from Jason say. Hey, sir, it sounds as if there have been some additional things that will still need to be taken care of on your house. Is it possible if I meet with you and Bella Vista tomorrow at the house to take a look at these issues. I will be up there later in the evening and can look over the things that need to be addressed and hopefully get some of these things taken care of for you. Somehow I'm just now receiving the text that we have not completed everything. I was a little bit confused because I thought that Derek had finished everything up, so I'm terribly sorry that I missed the text, and I really do want to get these things addressed and taken care of. Please accept my apology and allow me to make things right with you. Thank you, Mr. Mark. And it's not Derek Dillard, in case you're wondering. And so the buyer then sent some photographs of issues with the deck and with the roof. And Jason said, I see what you're talking about now. I thought you were referring to the overlapping of the trip edge. We changed the overlapping of the drip edge to be correct, but now we need to place the paper on top of the bottom drip edge. Going to have my subcontractor come back out this week or beginning of next week. He said it's okay if you guys are not there, if that's okay with you. So this is in April of 2024, and Jason is posing as a contractor, literally, without a license. And he said, I'm fine with that. And he said, I will let you know what day he's going to get out there just so you're aware. And then he sends a text and he said, this week and next came and went. I'm sure it's being blamed on the weather. When's the next time to expect them? So he claims a contractor's going to come out, a sub's going to come out, doesn't show. Okay. And he says, I reached out to my subcontractor and I'm getting him scheduled for next week. And then he says, my sub will be there on Thursday between 8 and 10 to get this corrected. You shouldn't need to be there since he's only working on the outside. And then he said, Thursday and Friday came and went, and let's go for another day. And I would also like to note that the sod, there are large tracts of sod that are barren of grass that are dead and has never grown, and only weeds have sprouted. And then Jason responded, oh my goodness, did my subcontractor not show up this week? I'm sorry, I did not check back with him. Let me make this up right now, and I will get a different sub who will be actually show up. What day next week would work best for you? And he said, all day, any day next week. It sounds like this is not a surprise to you, and I'll leave it at that. And per the inspection report, I would prefer a licensed contractor to perform the repairs and would appreciate the contractor's information to verify they are indeed licensed. So at this point, he's on to the fact that Jason is not licensed. Okay. And he's telling Jason, I know you're not licensed. And he said, let me see who I can reach out to and I will let you know when I get them scheduled. And he said, okay, I'll wait until the close of business Monday. And then he said, what availability do you have for us to get out and address these issues? He says, anytime, any day for everything, exterior, interior, most likely the same. I will update if it changes. For interior, we will be available the 24th and the 28th. So Jason was told that he knew he wasn't licensed, okay? And then Jason says, okay, what's your availability? He gives him dates. And then Jason's next response is crazy. And he says, Mark, I have a question for you. Instead of us coming back several times and you getting upset with me and me getting upset with you, that if I cut you a final check for however much you think it's going to cost to get these things, you sign a contract saying we're no longer responsible for any additional fixes on the home inspection repair list. If you're interested in that, and then that's it. So basically, the guy caught Jason lying and he said, I want a licensed contractor to come out. Jason's response is, so how about I just cut you a check and then you sign this letter, which basically says you hold me harmless and it's done. So Jason knew he was caught and then he just stopped responding to him, I guess. And now he's suing him because these repairs still haven't been made. It's just shocking to me that these men are so easily deceiving people. And I called this last year when I said that Jason was illegally working as a contractor and this was going to come back and bite him in the butt. And here we are. Now, Jason hasn't responded yet to this. This was just filed yesterday. A summons was issued and he has a right to respond in the court. But for now, this does not look good for him. And we'll have to see how this all plays out. He's also Jim Bob's business partner, Madison Holdings LLC, which is owned by Ross Little, is also named as a defendant in this case. So, are you shocked about all of this? Are you shocked that Jason lied, that he tried to buy him out and keep him quiet? Like, that's what he was trying to do. Like, I'll pay you out just so you stay quiet and we'll be done. And here's the lawsuit now. So, what are your thoughts? Let me know. Is Jason going to go down for fraud? Do you think a police report could follow? Make sure to leave some comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Bye, everyone.